pues si acaso alguien se une para que le des acceso.
Ok, perfecto.
Pues nada, bienvenidos al...
Okay. Looks like we are live. So just wait a couple minutes and we should be starting soon. All right. So it's 6 p.m. Eastern time, so it's time to start our meetup, our South Florida and Kubernetes and Cloud South Florida meetup. So welcome everyone, the ones that are here in the call, the ones that are online YouTube or any other platform that we're streaming. I have in my left side the chat, so in case that you guys see me looking to this way, it's because I'm trying to catch as many questions as I can and try to answer them. So feel free to ask any questions. I have a short presentation today and maybe a little more practical exercises. So definitely, I think it's gonna be fun. Let's try to keep it on the 1 hour. So, we don't stand too long, but at the same time, we got enough content for you guys to at least know about this tool, Kube-Bench and Kube Hunter that I'll try to present today. So, but yeah, and in case that you guys watching this recorded, feel free to still ask questions on the YouTube or the other platforms. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible. So this is just not only for live streaming, it's also for anyone who wants to, learn about Kubernetes, couple of tools and kind of get the knowledge. So feel free to ask questions at any given time. All right. Awesome. So first thing first, today we're going to be talking about a little bit of security. And the reason why I'm talking about security is because it's part of my path to becoming a certified Kubernetes security specialist. It's the newest certification that Kubernetes came with. So I really want to, get that one. And the best way that I think people learn is actually by teaching what you just learned, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I did this presentation also in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker and you want to listen in Spanish, feel free to hop into the YouTube channel and look for the, I think it was the chapter number 40, if I not remember incorrectly, it's like 2 weeks ago. And that content is completely in Spanish. So if you feel more comfortable in Spanish. All right, so let's get this party started. First order of the day, who am I and why am I talking to you? So my name is Ingrid Ramirez and I'm the CEO of Cuemby. Cuemby is a company that helps all organizations to migrate to the cloud and optimize their resources using cloud native technologies and Kubernetes specialists, which is why we are talking about Kubernetes today. A couple of facts about me. I'm a Kubernetes certified administrator. I'm also a Kubernetes exam developer for that certification. I'm part of this speaker bureau of the CNCM. I love cloud native stuff, so I feel like an advocate for it. And I love teaching people, which you can see it's what I do here, either in English and Spanish. I love playing soccer and, travel the world with my favorite person, which is my wife. So having that out of the way, let's jump right into the agenda for today. Like I said, the agenda for today is very, very, very simple. I'm not gonna go too in deep on theories or anything like that, but I do need to show a couple of like links, interesting links, and a couple of information that it might help you to understand why we're talking about these tools. Also, it's good to clarify. We're not gonna try to fix live any type of security issues in this video. We will need more than an hour for that, and that's not the case here. I think that what I want you guys to get out of this short video, even though that is an hour, it's still a short video related to security, is to kind of like wrap your hand around like, what can I do with this? Like, how am I supposed to look into like security in terms of Kubernetes? There's a lot of information. It's ton. It's like security in Kubernetes right now is like one of the hottest things because it's already been proven, which to be a great tool for infrastructure and actually set up your deployments and that kind of stuff, and high available scalability. So all that is already being proved, right? But now it's like, okay, now how can I make all that secure, right? Okay, so for traditional deployments, we've been using a lot of stuff to secure it, like firewalls and this stuff. But what happens on the application side inside Kubernetes, like, okay, now we need to learn how to secure that, right? And that's the idea on this series that I'm doing of multiple videos across the year that I'll probably be doing, is to emphasize on security. So today we're going to look into like first what's Kube-Bench. It's a tool. Definitely we're going to talk about that. What is the CIS? And then we're going to take a look real quick at a kind of like a configuration, how it looks like for Kube-Bench. And of course, we're going to do a demo. If I have some time, I want to kind of like throw into the mix Kube Hunter, which is another tool that plays alongside with Kube-Bench, so guys can see what else can be done. And but that's only if we have enough time. So I'll have of course a hard stab at the top of the hour. So let's kind of like move on. All right, so that's the agenda for today. So of course we need to kind of like clarify what's Kube-Bench, right? So, and Kube-Bench is basically a tool developed by Aqua Security, which is a company, I believe it's based in London. So please forgive me if you guys watching and I don't exactly know the place, but I think it's based in the UK area. But it's they develop these tools, open source. Anyone can check it out, can see it. I'll show you guys the link so you can know where to find it and that kind of stuff. But the thing interesting about Kube-Bench is that checks basically all the checks that it does is according to what the best practices are in the CIS, which I'm gonna talk a little bit more about CIS, what it is, but basically it's the Center for Internet Security. And as you can see here, I have a link which I'll go later to show you how it looks like. But it basically they put together all the best practices according with this group of people that are in basically the CIS, this organization, and basically tells you, hey, you should be checking all this stuff, or hey, by the way, you should be looking at these other potential threats that people have found so far, and definitely you should be, taking a look at them and fix it. And they can even give you the way to fix it, which is very interesting. So that's what Kube-Bench is basically is in a nutshell. Of course, you can read more about it. You can go to the website and get more information, but that's in a nutshell what it does. So it's pretty cool tool. It's open source, like I said, and you can check it out. So what is the CIS is, like I said, it's a Center for Internet Security. It's a nonprofit organization, and there's a lot of stuff here that definitely, I don't want to read the whole thing, but definitely there's a couple of things that I want to highlight from their definition. And it's like they harness the power of IT by community, right? So it's a a group of people, they're experts, is a nonprofit, is not bind to any specific organization, which I think is the best thing that they have. So they're not trying to make it like best practices for company A or best practices for company or organization C. They actually make it best practices as a global standard based on all this knowledge. So definitely that's one of the best thing that they do. Everything is consensus based, so that's pretty important, because it's not like, oh, I like this way or you like that way. It's more like okay, let's sit down, let's evaluate how would be a good approach to tackle this threat. Oh, let's talk about these solutions, and then that's how it's basically curated. And I love that because there's not like one person dictating how it's supposed to work. It's more like all right, that whatever we come up with, it had to make sense for everyone. It had to be like a consensus. So I love that. It's objective standards based, so it's basically based on best practices. So like I think that's like, there's not even a way to challenge that, and because it's a volunteers community, so they're not trying to gain any extra type of like benefit, or that the make sure that the overall internet applications are secure and follow the best standards possible, right? So I love that, and they just they follow the idea of having a secure online experience, which I love. So definitely that's one of the highlights that I wanted to do about the CIS. And definitely you can check it out more on the website, but I just wanted to highlight these 4 main points that they have in as an organization. All right, so like I said, we're going to move faster. We're going to move very fast on the presentation today. So bear with me, and if you have questions, you can just tap in here. So this is how like a configuration looks like for Kube-Bench. If you can, I hope that is legible, but you can say it's everything based on groups of tasks, right? So for example, right here, there's a couple of information here, like we have to define an ID for the check that we're gonna perform. We of course we're always gonna give it like a human description that we can read, in this case it's the API server check. And then you define inside the checks, you have an array where you start defining multiple information, like first what type of the ID, the text, which has an explanation of what you're trying to check for, which I like a lot, because all this information you will see in the output that I'm going to show you later, that how actually shows you every single information, and tells you, like, for example, ensure that there's no allow privilege argument and set, and then you of course provide the command that is going to check for that. So you can basically you can define your own set of best practices. So what do you want to search for? I'm sorry, hold on, Siri, I didn't talk to you, so just stand by. So what I mean with this is like you could not only use what is provided by default for the CIS, you can actually add your own if you want to. So you can check for specific things that you feel that you need to have as a security. And this is actually pretty powerful, because that means that you're not only going to follow the global standards, you can also follow your organizational standards without having to give up for the global standards. For example, if you're in an industry that you require X, Y, and Z type of measures, then you can just add those without losing the other ones. So that definitely, I want to highlight that, because that's how powerful this tool is. And then you have the test, which basically tells you how to perform that command, and what will be the combination of commands that will give you if this is something that will pass or not. But now the thing that I really like, which of course this is set by the experts on the CIS, but if you build in your own, you should provide it, is the remediation. And the remediation basically tells you, like, if by any chance this specific command that you're running is it fails, it basically says that no, this is actually not good or it's not set or whatever you have, you provide a way to solve it. And this is actually something that saves a lot of time, because for multiple reasons, you can either use the remediation as a guidance for you to like, all right, so let me go back now and fix it. Or you can make it in a way that you can even automate it. So you can actually provide the remediation a set of command that will remediate the issue if by any chance you found it. Of course, there's more stuff involved in there that you might need to do another tool that reads this file and basically, that reads the output and use the remediation to execute the command that you need. But hey, it's something, this is the first step, right? So that's the first step for you to actually start using more automation. So that's definitely something very interesting to check it out. And the other item that I like from the checks is the score. So you can actually have checks or tests, if you want to use that word, for I wanna tell people that they should make sure that this is not, for example, this pass, but I might say this is just a warning. So if you want to just put like, wow, I mean, yeah, it's the best practice for you to do this, but it's not gonna hurt you in security wise. You will put score false, meaning that it won't tell you like, hey, you need to do this like now, right? So I think that's pretty awesome, because that allows you to use different checks for like when you really want to make something happen and you want to execute it and you want to make sure that that's applied, or when you feel like this stuff that if you don't have it, you won't get hurt, but you can always keep it in mind. So I love that score type of check. So yeah, this is kind of like how the config looks like. So I invite you guys to check it out. So definitely. So before we got into the next slide, I would like to just go back real quick here and show you a little bit of the website that I was saying before. Let's go back here. So yeah, so this is the CIS. And as you can see here, I went straight to the benchmark / Kubernetes. So what I'm getting in here is now I have a list of benchmarks that I can just download, right? So if I click here, of course, it's gonna ask me for a bunch of stuff and that kind of stuff, but it's okay. I mean, you can always fill this information, but once you fill this information, you get basically a file with all the benchmark and security kind of rules that you should follow for Kubernetes. And that actually is divided into multiple cloud providers, which I'm going to show you next. But that's pretty interesting. So that basically give you a baseline. So definitely check this out. And if you want to see more about what the CIS does, you can go to all the service technology. You can see here, like even for Alibaba, if you want to, for example, set up a cloud services in Alibaba. So what you should follow, what are the best standards and practices that you should follow. And I can tell there's a bunch of here. So you're probably gonna spend some time looking at this. But basically, even for Zoom, like one of the tools that we're using right now, it tells you what you should be looking into, like for Ubuntu Linux. So if you want to see a hardened, or they even provide you with a hardened image that already have all those security in place. So it's pretty cool the way that this is done. So definitely you should check it out. And if you want to have at least a baseline security, and I'm not saying at least in a bad way, it's more like at least you should follow this, like in terms of security. If you want to even harden it more based on your personal preference or based on your company or all the things that you think is secure, go ahead, you should. But at the minimum requirement, at least that you should guys take a look at is at least following this. And it is a bunch of technology here that you definitely can benefit of, and and save some time figuring it out. Like, should I use this? What should I use? Remove or whatever. So check this out. Definitely, it's free. Is open source. It's a community. So if you feel like you are a security expert and you want to add some value, by all means, go ahead and do it. So that's one of the things that I wanted to show you. Then I wanted to show you a little more about Kube-Bench. This is the repo. Let me just open it here. So like I say, it's developed by Aqua Security right here. By the way, I'm not getting paid for this. It's just, I think it's a great tool. So definitely it deserves the mention. Actually, they're from Israel. So I was wrong. So I apologize. For some reason, I thought they were in the UK. But anyways, so they developed this tool, and they also have another tools that they definitely will see along the way. But today we're gonna look at Kube-Bench, and potentially we'll see if we have enough time to take a look at Kube Hunter. So yeah, definitely worth to check out, and please, I mean, security is important. So all right, so this is the repo for Kube-Bench. It's pretty straightforward to set up. It's a tool developing Go. You can just either download the repo, run it, build it yourself, add more stuff if you feel like you have something to add to the tool. Go ahead. And then we're gonna take a look at all this stuff. They provide multiple ways to run it inside their own Kubernetes, which is what we're gonna be doing today. But you can also run it from a container. As you can see here, running Kube-Bench, look at how many options you have. So you don't have to just do exactly what I'm gonna do today. Like I say, it's just like an introductory type of content. But feel free to come here and say, well, let me run it, like just the binary. Go ahead. Or if you want to run inside Docker, like right here, they have an example how to run it from a Docker. It's over here at the bottom, somewhere here. Ubuntu from a container. There you go. So you can just run it from a container if you want to. So, like I say, I'm gonna show you something today, guys, but feel free to do it anyways you want. All right. So this is Kube-Bench, and I think we should be going ahead and start testing the first thing. So I'm going to be watching the chat just in case anyone have questions. So let me now jump into the code editor. There you go. All right. So what we're going to be doing now, we're going to do something very, very interesting. So I'm going to test this out in a couple of cloud providers and then one local. So right now we're gonna try with, let me just see what I have here. I got different contexts. So I have a DigitalOcean cluster running and a GKE Google Cloud cluster running, and they also have a Vagrant running, Vagrant cluster running. So we're gonna run this tool on those three and see what's different. Like, what's the output when I run the tool from DigitalOcean to Google Cloud to the local one. And by the way, to be fair with everyone, in terms of like setup, I just literally use the defaults. Like, I run DOCTL create cluster. I didn't even select like what type of machines, like whatever this is the default, I'm just taking that. Same for BKE and same for Vagrant. For Vagrant, of course, I'll show you what I did. This is actually a great a project that once again that I found on the internet, so pretty straightforward, to be honest, just installing Vagrant using some Ansible playbook. But it's basically the bird setup, nothing extra, just play one master 3 nodes, and that's it. That's it, nothing else. It's using Ubuntu. I'm not adding anything to the Ubuntu Sentinel, by the way. So like I say, it's pretty straightforward. You can see it here. I'm not even adding anything specific, just a couple of scripts to run it, and that's it. So I'll make this available, of course, later on in GitHub. So if you guys want to check it out. but I just wanted to show you that there's nothing really here extra, just an Ubuntu saying, oh, that's it. All right, so the background is running, everything's running, so let's do the first one. So let's start with the DigitalOcean, right? So the pretty simple one. So I'll just want to show you this job, and actually I'm gonna go back to the to here and just check it out if there's anything new, because I have that file for a while, so I'm not sure if anything changed, like a version or something like that. So they're using the Kubebench latest, so I think nothing has changed. It's just pretty much straightforward the same, so which is good. So so how am I going to run this? I'm just using exactly what they suggest on the website. It's just run it as a job, which for you guys that may not know what a job in Kubernetes is, just like a one-time pod running, and that's it. It will die. So that's kind of what it is, and we will retain the logs. With those logs, we're gonna see what's the output, and then we will go from there. So just to explore a little bit more about the template, we're using metadata, a couple of labels. Of course, we need to make sure that we have the host PID, so we can actually hook into the Kubernetes container. And then we define the container that we're running, which is a Kube-Bench. That tooltip is just annoying. Sorry about that. And we define the image, which is the latest. So whatever they have, the latest information, we're going to use it. We're mounting a couple of volumes, which is interesting because we need to actually have access to these stuff in order to access them. So nothing really critical here that, it's not a straightforward volume mounting. Like everything is read only. So as you can see here, so we're not trying to take advantage of anything. It's just getting those tools. And then we have the user bean, and in that user bean is where we're running all the stuff. So like I said, pretty straightforward job, right? So let's now run it. The first thing first, let's just make sure that we are in the right context. So we're gonna use the context for the DigitalOcean. DONYC is episode 7. Confirming that we're in the right context. All right, so yeah, we've got the start right in the context that we need. Cool. The other way for you guys to, if you're curious to check this out, is just saying current context, and that also works. All right, so now let's just apply. And for this, we don't need to do any magic. We're just gonna do it right on the default namespace. If you want to do a different namespace, you will do -n, and then you specify my namespace, which needs to be created first. But just in this case, we're not doing that. We're just gonna apply it right there, because at the end it's just something that we're gonna run one time, and that's it. We're gonna do the job.yaml, that's the one that we just did. Let's give it a second to apply. All right, the job was created. Cool. Now let's see what we got here. We got the job. There you go. It says that the KubeBench job was completed 101. And now we're gonna see the pod for that job. So it's basically saying that this pod was completed and nothing went wrong. So we're gonna first see the logs for this pod, and then we're gonna save it so we can see it in a better way. kubectl logs, and let's see what we got. So there's a bunch of stuff here we couldn't see in the screen, so no worries. I'm gonna save it to a file. So we're gonna save it into the DigitalOcean. So let's just use DO as a acronym, and then now let's open that file. There you go. All right, so this is the output of the file, and let's just take a look real quick at what it does. Save this here. So it's basically giving us a couple of information that some of them are information, some of them is like what's going on. So it's telling us that first it's gonna run the working node security configuration, and they started with the 4.1, and then they started running the test, right? So basically, this is like a summary of like saying, ensure that the kubelet service file permissions are set to 644 or more restricted, right? Good, so that passed. So you can see here, there's a bunch of them that passed, and then we got some warns telling us like, for example, it's saying ensure that the certificate authority file permissions are set to 644 or more restrictive. So it's saying that it's a warning. So I think this is the type for you to kind of like compare. This is the type of warning that you get, like you might not get a score, because I mean it's like you should, but you won't, it's not gonna, nothing is gonna happen. Well, maybe nothing bad is gonna happen, or it's not critical. I personally don't like warnings either. I think it's just, for me, warnings is just a loophole that you leave in there for the maybe attack. So it's up to you guys. Everyone make their own decisions, but I rather have everything passing than, a couple of warnings, around there. Sometimes it makes sense for some warnings to just leave it because they're not like really too much. But like I said, in my personal opinion, I'd rather not have any warnings or failures, either pass or not. But for example, let me show you a couple of fails. Like right here, you see, I ensure that the anonymous authentication argument is set to false. So that's kind of like one of the things that, definitely you should do it. And then it's just telling you like, definitely this is an issue, right? So if it's telling you fail, it's because this is a score type of check, and you should definitely take a look at that. Like I said, we're not gonna read all the tests that we have here because there's a bunch of them. But definitely this is a good start for you folks to take a look at what you should be looking into when a Kubernetes cluster is set up. But here's the funny part though. This is in DigitalOcean. So how are you going to fix it? So we're not gonna fix it here, and you're not gonna like we're not gonna now rant or criticize cloud provider. But I just wanted to show you that this is the default service provided by a cloud provider, and it has failures. So my point here is like that's the whole point of using managed service, right? So because you trusting that it will be cool. So once again, no ranting on that, but definitely I think everyone should implement at least the ones that fails. I mean, if I get some warnings, I'll be like, wow, okay, well, it's not critical, but definitely I'm expecting a Kubernetes cluster, managed Kubernetes cluster, to not have any fail, at least. So just food for thought for the future. So this is like something like a summary. Then you have remediation notes, right? And then you can see here, okay, so if you, for the 417, let's just go back to 417, which is a warning, right? It's telling you like how to do it. It's just saying, dude, just go to this file name and put 644, and that's it. CHMO, like how hard could be, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes warnings is like, it's not even that hard. So just do it, right? Just do it. I had to do it, sorry. So this is kind of like all the remediations that you have, and then you can have like all the stuff. So definitely, like I said, we're not going to go like too in deep on this, but keep in mind that that's what it is. No, now this is like working node security configuration. Now let's talk about a summary of the policies. Because one thing is the security configuration, another thing is policies. Now we have things like RBAC. We're talking about different configuration on the Kubernetes side, which, surprisingly enough, there's more warnings than ever. So you got a bunch of warnings. Now, the thing is like most of this you can fix, right? Some of these you can just, fix manually, but I'm not sure about the emissions and stuff like that, but some of these you can fix. And then there's a remediation as well here for the policies, and it's telling you how to do it. Like you should delete the cluster row binding X, Y, and Z, which if 511 is telling me like, you shouldn't have a cluster admin role binding at all. And that's true. You don't want anyone to have super admin access to everything. So everything should be granular. And I know that's not nice because, you know, it's always cool to have one user that can do everything. But just create a user, create a role for that specific user, and then give the access that you need, but don't use it cluster wide. So I know it's painful because then you say, well, Angel, if I'm an administrator, I might need to have access to everything. It's like, well, then do it that way. So if someone hacks your cluster and set themselves as a cluster admin, now you make it easier for them than doing it one by one. So anyways, it's just like some ideas for you guys to look at, but this is interesting to explore. So I just wanted to show you how easy you can just take a look at what's going on in your Kubernetes cluster, even for the ones managed by cloud providers or whatever managed version you're using. Doesn't really matter. So this is DigitalOcean. So let's just see the summary. So we got like 24 checks as a warn in the policies. So 0 checks, 0 pass, 0 fail, all warns. And the basically as total, we have, and when I mean total, I mean the policies plus the configurations, which we have over here. I want to just use the reference right here and just say a summary. Now we can see that we have 14 pass, 4 fails, and 29 checks that are warned. Okay, so now let's do it on Google Cloud, right? And before I run it, I want to show you what's the difference in GKE. And the difference is pretty much the same. To be honest, nothing really has changed much, except for a couple of mounting paths that are different in GKE. But what really makes the difference is like now we're saying, hey, KubeBench, run the benchmark, but this time use the GKE 1.0 version of the policies, run it in all targets that are no policies managed services. So, and this has to be specific because remember, GKE setups their managed services in a completely different way that DigitalOcean does it. Right now, I run the default for DigitalOcean because there's not one specific for DigitalOcean. But if there's one that comes up for DigitalOcean, you should be running that one. Like there's also one for, and if I go back to the website, there's one for AKS, there's one for Azure, there's one for AKS, AWS AKS. So definitely you have multiple ones, right? So you should definitely just use the one that that give you the best one. So yeah, sorry to sidetrack a little bit, but I think that was worth to mention. Now let's run this and see what we got. All right, so let's just now, of course, change the context. Use context, and then let's do the GKE one. And let's just Kubernetes, apply -F, and now let's just run the GKE one. Let's do it and see what's going on. Checking the questions, no questions so far. All right, so either this is like way too easy, or you guys just waiting for me to see me fail in somewhere somehow. All right, so all right, let's just check the job first. Let's just get the job. Cool, all good. Now let's just get the pod and see what's going on. Complete it. So let's check that out. This time I'm not gonna show in the screen because it's pointless. We know that we cannot see the whole thing. So let's just do logs. Now we're just gonna save it by GKE, and then let's do the log. Sounds good. And let's just now open this one. Let's just do GKE. Okay, no, not that one. Let's just do the GKE. All right, sounds good. All right, same thing. You're familiar with this array, so I'm not gonna go through every single one. I think that's more than clear by at this time. However, something that I do wanna like kind of like point out is like, okay, let's go straight to the comparison of like what is the difference between one or the other one, right? So that's kind of like what we can get from here. So let's just go to the summary. The summary for the node, it seems to be like A checks the pass, A that fail, 7 warns, no infos. Okay, and then the policies, we got some few policies here as well. They all warn. I think it's kind of like the same. So let's open the DigitalOcean and see what's going on here. Yeah, kind of same 24. So pretty much the same on that one. But now we have the managed services. Let's see what they say here. Cool. So they're actually telling you that the G-Cloud service is enabled. You should have the container scanning enabled. You should have all the things here interesting. So they tell you like how to use different type of like object viewer and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So it's telling you what to do in the project so you get a better security. So let's see what the results are. Oh, wow, there's a lot of them. So basically I didn't do anything for this project default. So it's telling me 37 ones. There you go. So, all right, sounds good. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna run it again, but this time I'm gonna remove the definitely the GKE the managed service because I want to compare one to one. I don't want to be unfair. And then say, well, this one have more warnings than the other one, just because. So cool. Let me just run this again. And you guys let me know if this is actually worth it. So let's just apply it. Oh, of course, then so let's just first delete the job. And that should delete the pod. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just run it again. Cool. Let's get the pod again. All right. And now let's compare these two in more fair way. Cool. All right. So, all right. Now this is a little more fair. So comparing side by side. So basically we got pretty much the same. I mean, it's of course definitely DigitalOcean, I think it have less checks that fail 4 against 4, really don't matter, but the warnings are pretty much the same. Of course, DigitalOcean is passing more. I mean, once again, I don't want to use this to like make a rant about them or comparisons. To be honest, some of these I could be fixing if I do like a more harnessed type of cluster. If I go to GKE and I add cryptography and use these for network policies and stuff like that. So some of them might be checking off for sure, but no, by default this is what I get. So definitely is something that we need to look into. Like when you create your cluster, which is kind of the point that I'm trying to make, is like don't trust it just because, and that's kind of my main point. Just because it's like, oh, Google is creating my cluster, AWS or whoever, don't just trust that. Get your cluster and get a report of security. And now I'm basically showing you a tool that you can do it by yourself. Like you don't have to wait for a super duper cybersecurity company to come back to you and tell you what you're doing wrong. you could use a company like that to like maybe fix it and you know, do a more thorough uh, security check. But this is actually good. It's giving you at least a notion like, hey, you are failing in these 3, 4, 5 different checks that you should, you know, get in place. So that's kind of my point. So I don't want to be, you know, like unfair or trying to make it now a cloud provider battle and like that. But at the end, don't trust or don't just go blindly and say, oh, I got an EKS cluster, so it's managed. That's kind of what I'm trying to express here. So just because it's managed doesn't mean it's secure. The last test I want to do is just use Vagrant. So in this case, I'm using two SSH into this one. So now let's just wait a second. Can I SSH into this one? Oh, I need to run it. Vagrant up. Let me see if let's see how long it takes. Sorry, in case that takes too long, we might need to do a different method. So let's just give it a second. If it doesn't take too long, we do this one, and then we can try to do Kube-Bench, Kube Hunter. We still have like a 15 minutes, but I do have a hard time stop today. Otherwise, I will just go over and it's fine. Okay. Meantime, I'm looking at the questions here. In case anyone have any questions, feel free. This is the right time because we're watching logs. So, all right, so just give it a second. Maybe because I have the Docker's running, so it's good. Just give it a second. So, what we can do in the meantime, so we don't just wait here, we can then take a look at the Hunter and show you how it works in the meantime. So let's just. So this is how, I mean, first let me go back to the Hunter. So the Kube Hunter is, like I said, another tool. So of course, I don't run this in a cluster that you don't know, right? But the idea of Kube Hunter is that you just kind of like go to this website, put your information and pass it, and then you give you like some sort of like a token or anything like that. So let me just copy this and see if it works. You can write just as a Docker, right? But it's kind of it's gonna explore a little more in depth than what Kube-Bench is doing for all vulnerabilities, and it's giving you this nice UI where you put that and then you associate with your email, and it's just gonna be hunting, kind of what it is. So let's run that real quick and see what we got. Just go back here. And then just make these arguments. All right. Okay, so let's do it this way. And now let's just run it and see what we have. So let's run it first in the GKE, it's fine. So let's apply it and minus F, and then we're gonna do Hunter. And then while it's doing that, it's a job, so it should let's just wait until it finished. So let's just get the job. So it's not completed. That's interesting. So let's just watch it. And once it's completed, then we'll get back to this one. And then what it's supposed to do is just show here information about it. So let me just click here. So it seems to be waiting for results. So let's just wait for the test to run. Just give it a second. And let's just check it out how we do it with Vagrant. Okay, looks good. Let me just SSH and see if now we can SSH inside Vagrant. Okay, we are inside Vagrant. Let's just check if we got enough nodes. Cool, we are good. And now what I can try to do is now run it, the KubeBench using the container approach. Or we can do it with the binary. Let's just get the binary. I think it's better, right? This is for Debian. No, let's do the Docker. I see why. The Docker is going to be easier. It's just going to give me right there an install. So just get the Docker. It's going to download a Docker image. It's going to put the binary right there. So you see, we can just do KubeBench. And I have to do sudo. Boom. And then it's telling me that I have the worst cluster ever, because as you can see here, basically I have in the policies like 24 warns, and then I have 71 that passes, but then I have 11 that fail, and then more another 40 warnings. So yeah, I mean, of course, like I said, I didn't even set it up in the right way. I just put whatever. But just to show you another way to run the KubeBench, in this time inside of the VM. So that's kind of what it is that I wanted to show you today. And then of course I wanted to show you about the Kube Hunter, which is not finished yet. So let's see if we're getting some information. And like I said, this is the right time maybe to ask questions, because we don't have information just yet. But we might soon, hopefully, because the job hasn't finished. So I don't know if I should be worried because the job hasn't finished and maybe it's like this a lot, or it's just because it just takes time to do a more, detailed checking in multiple ways. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. So we can, in the meantime, check how we're doing with the job. Let's get a job. So it's pod, and maybe check the logs in the real time. Oh, it's erroring now. Okay, cool. So why is erroring now? So you see, I should have checked that out first. Let's check this and see what's going on. Not like this. So I'm just gonna try to debug this in the next 2 to 5 minutes, but if not, then I'll put this one later. So Kube Hunter, so the image is good, so nothing wrong with the image. So it looks like it's more like an application error. So let's just check now the logs and see what's going on. Recognize arguments. Interesting. So it's basically not recognizing my token. So let's do this. So maybe this the way that they use with the maybe they just don't like using tokens when running inside the cluster. Maybe that was my messed up. So I probably was the one who did it wrong. So let's just try it again this time the proper way. So let's delete the job Kube Hunter. That's good. And now let's check the pods for one more time. There's no pods related to that. Let's just apply it now again. Hunter. Let's just leave it like that. So go back to this one. All right. So let's just leave it that one there. And now here, what we're gonna be doing, and this is kind of like a trick that we're gonna be doing to see both at the same time. So I'm gonna go here, copy this, and then run it as a Docker inside the Vagrant cluster and see if this one is recognized better. All right, let's just give it a second. Oh, okay, cool. So it's asking me like, what do you want to do? To download, reload, remote scanning one or more specific IPs of DNS name, interface scanning. It's going to give a given IP range. It's got also nets, local no interfaces. Let's do remotes and see what's going on. Okay, what range should I use here? You see, this is what happens when you don't read the documentation. Scanning options. So remote scanning. To specify remote scanning for Hunter, select option 1 or use dash remote. For example, Hunter remote, same node, some node.com. Interface scanning, interface. Oh, let's do the option 2 then. I think it's the one that we want. It says interface scanning, scan everything that you can find there. Oh, wow. All right. So interesting. It's telling me already that, yeah, let's just go to the report. There you go. This is the report. This is nice. Okay, this is pretty cool. You see, they already told me like, hey, dude, we did this, 3 vulnerabilities in 4 nodes, and here what it is. So the Kubernetes version could be obtained via / version endpoint. Don't do that. Like I said, I didn't even try to make it secure. Otherwise, it would be pointless to do this. But this is interesting. So you can see all this stuff in here and the severity that they have. So that's pretty cool. So now let's check it out how we do it in the other side. So it says it completed. Cool. So now let's just get the pod. This one, the Kube Hunter. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get this kubectl. And now let's do logs. And let's see what we got in the logs. Ooh, a lot of information. But let's just put it in a file. Let's do Hunter. Let's do gke-hunter. Yeah, that log. And now let's check it out. What we got in the gke hunter. Let's just close this stuff so we don't. Nice. All right, so it gives me a lot of information, pretty much basically telling me everything about my cluster. So don't try to hack it. I'm gonna remove it anyways right after. So don't waste your time. So it's telling me some vulnerabilities that is founding on my, and this is actually from the GKE. So this is actually vulnerabilities on the GKE side, which is the managed cluster. So definitely, actually, it's pretty cool information. It's telling me that an attacker could view sensitive information about pods that are bound to the node using the /pods endpoint. It's pretty cool. All right. So this one is not going to send me to the website to see the information. It's just going to show me the information right here, right now. So, okay, this is pretty cool. And it's actually giving me a website for me to go and check more information if I want to, by Aqua, and then, hey, you should look into this. You can put the, I think the ID should be here. There you go. Nice. So it's telling me like, so based on the CIS, this is what you do in run, dude, fix it. And it's done by Kube Hunter. So it's telling me which tool is giving me this type of fixes. So even if I want to even if I haven't run this, and I go to the CVE, and I want to see like what ID I want to see which tool is going to help me out. It's just going to let me know right here. And by the way, definitely 3V is something that I want to show you guys in the future. Treevee is pretty cool. It basically gives you the same for containers and other artifacts. So, and you can scan it and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool, Treevee. So I think definitely this is going to be something that I want to do next, Treevee. And that's it. That's the demo that I wanted to do for today. I'll upload this information to GitHub later. I do have to cover stuff first, so I'll get back to you guys soon. But I'm gonna upload it and update the description on the description of the Meetup or YouTube channel, whatever you're looking at right now. So that's all I got. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. For those that are watching live here in the Zoom, and also for those that are gonna watch the record. I hope that I gave you enough information. I know that it was introductory. We didn't get into the nitty-gritty deep dive of security, but like I said, we wouldn't need at least 4 to 8 hours to go through that. So it's better to just do like little by little every time. This meetup for South Florida, I wanted to do it like at least twice a month instead of once a month. I think there's a lot of content we can cover, so we cannot put too much time in between. Also, you can check more information, more content on the YouTube channel for Cuemby, and I might do more short videos there, not live, maybe more like record videos that about 10 minutes, just showcasing one specific feature of anything that I can find interesting. But at least the meetup, I would like to start doing like twice a month. And hopefully if I can get more people to help me out to recreate content, all the people that want to like collaborate with the community, definitely I would like to take it to the same place that the Spanish meetup is on Medellin, which is the Hispanic Foundation that we have there for Cloud Native. Definitely I would like to get it to like every week. So, but I do need some help. So if you guys are interested in speaking and sharing your knowledge with the community, you reach me out on the Meetup, on YouTube, whatever you find interesting to find me. Like I said, you can find me everywhere using my handle A4 Ramirez. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And I'll definitely will like to collaborate with you and bring you on board. So having said that, thank you. We are really right on top of the hour, which I wanted to be, so I can just go ahead and help my kids now. So thank you, everyone. Hope you got a great content and I help you in somehow, some way. And I'm looking forward to the next one. All right. Bye-bye.